Okay, so this problem reads, a baggage handler throws a 15-kilogram suitcase horizontally along the floor of an airplane luggage compartment with an initial speed of 1.2 meters per second. The suitcase slides 2 meters before stopping. What is the coefficient of friction between the suitcase and the floor? All right, well, this problem I could have easily just put this problem on a kinematics and force analysis test. We're going to use work energy to see it done a little bit more efficiently and to appreciate how the work done by the forces acting on the bag are related to the change in energy. So let's draw our picture. Here we have our suitcase, and it's sliding along the floor at 1.2 meters per second, and it's going to come to rest. So the motion is going to rest here at, what does it say, 2 meters. All right, so it comes to rest 2 meters before stopping. So work is being done on this suitcase because its kinetic energy is changing. And we want to remind ourselves that the net work is equal to that change in kinetic energy. And I know how fast the suitcase is going to begin with, and I know how fast it's going to end. And so I have this change in energy. So the net work is the result of that. So we need to think about what forces are acting on this object and are they doing work or not. So do a quick free body diagram of this object, thinking about the interactions. So what interactions are acting on our object? Well, we have the Earth, of course. So we have the force of gravity, which is between the Earth and the suitcase. We have the normal force, which is between the suitcase and the airplane floor or the luggage compartment. And then we have the force of friction, which is between the suitcase floor and the suitcase and the floor, the luggage compartment. And that's it. Those are the only forces acting on this object moving to the right. Now, if we think about the net work, we can look at the forces done by each one, or excuse me, the work done by each one of these forces. So we could have the work done by friction to contribute to the net work. The work done by the normal force, perhaps that contributes to the net work. And the work done by the force of gravity, perhaps that contributes to the net work. Well, the motion is in the plane of the floor, and it's moving to the right. The motion is to the right. The displacement is to the right. So only forces that have components in that dimension are going to contribute to the work. And we can see that the normal force, there is no work being done by the normal force. And indeed, there is no work being done by the force of gravity either. So the only work being done by the one of the forces is by the force of friction. So that's the friction times the displacement times the cosine of the angle between the force and the displacement. So if we look at the angle between the force and the displacement, we see that to be 180 degrees. So we have the force times the displacement times the cosine of 180 degrees. All right, so we're interested in the coefficient of static friction, not just the frictional force. So we're going to recognize that our frictional force is related to mu times n times the displacement times the cosine of 180 degrees. So if we first just look at the work analysis, we can add up all of these works, 0 and 0, and we end up with mu times n, neither of which we know. The distance that it travels in that direction is 2 meters times the cosine of 180, which is -1. So we end up with -2 mu times n is equal to the work net on that object. Now we're interested in this coefficient, okay? So I need the work net, and I also need the normal force. Well, to get the normal force, we're going to do a little bit of a force analysis. So our normal force is acting in the vertical direction. If we divide our forces into horizontal and vertical directions, we have the force of gravity, which only has a vertical component. We have the normal force, which also only has a vertical component. And we have the force of friction, which has a horizontal component. Now, I went after this force analysis because I was interested in determining the normal force. And in the vertical dimension, there is no net force, and that's where my normal force is to analyze. So we see that the normal force is equal to the force of gravity in this case. With our 15 kilogram suitcase, our force of gravity is 147 newtons. So I can use that in my relationship, and I end up with negative 2 times mu times 147 is equal to the net work. And we get negative 294 times mu is equal to my net work. Now, here's where we utilize the idea that that net work is my change in kinetic energy. So my net work minus 294 times the coefficient is equal to my final kinetic energy minus my initial kinetic energy. Minus 294 times mu is my 1/2 mv final squared, my speed squared, minus 1/2 the mass times my initial speed squared. Well, we know the object comes to a stop, so indeed there is no final velocity. That minus 294 times mu equals minus 1/2 the mass of 15, I think it was, yep, 15 times its initial speed squared. And now I'm able to solve for mu. So we have 0.5 times 15 times 1.2 squared divided by 294, and we see that mu is equal to 0.037. All right, so a little bit of a force analysis, but much more efficiently done with work energy instead of kinematics. All right, now the second half of this says, is this static friction or kinetic friction? Well, the suitcase is indeed sliding across the floor, so we're in sliding friction state, so we have kinetic. Good job.